Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is a kind of a educational advice for some new dads, some expecting dads, some unexpecting dads, some first timers. This will probably be a good little lesson. It is very emotional, extremely emotional. It pulls on all the heartstrings, all the normal man, oh my gosh, what do I do now? How do we make this work? This is all new to me. How, when, why, how am I going to afford this? This is kind of one of those chats. So, for all the new dads and future dads, I'm just going to kind of list off a couple steps that I think you're going to enjoy. And please give me feedback on this and let me know what you think. I'm just going 100% off of my my past with having children. I never thought I would have kids. I never did. I kind of had them a little late in life. Had kids at late 30s. And I didn't think it was ever going to happen. But my wife at the time, currently wife, my wife and I decided, let's do this. I know she was really good with children. She's the oldest of 5. So I was like, sure, I can learn from her. But man, does the man go through the emotions too. I know the mom is doing all the cooking in her belly, cooking the baby, so it comes out perfect. But the man goes through a lot. And I don't think it's talked about that much. The man goes through a lot of emotions as well, and we don't really share it or talk about it much. Just what I was kind of hooked on or couldn't really figure out is like the logistics. Sounds silly, might sound silly to some ladies, but just like, okay, if I go to work, she's at work, who's with the kid? Do we need a daycare? How are we gonna balance this, soccer practice? How are we gonna make this all work? Because our lives are already full. How are we going to sandwich in another human into this and make it work? But I'll tell you, it just works out. It just works itself out. So, some advice that I'd give kind of right off the bat, go to all of your baby mama or wife, what have you. Try to go to as many appointments as you possibly can with her. Be supportive. Listen to the doctor. Take the recommendations. If you're there with her, oh, you got to work, try to get it off. Try to make those appointments. You see the different phases she's got to go through, and kind of help her along with those. Okay? Try to get some advice from your dad. How did he handle it? How did he go through some things? Or some of your buddies? Because thinking about it when you don't have a kid is it just boggles your mind. But it's not that hard. It's not that bad. You should be celebrating the entire time. You should be happy and very excited about the whole process. What's nice is you get 9 months to prep and prepare. Another thing is you really don't need a lot of stuff when the baby pops out. You really don't. I know that you think you do, and all these people will recommend things and buy you things, but you don't really need a lot of stuff. The babies don't take up that much room. I'm just going to go off a list off the top of my head. I'd say some good bottles, some good swaddle blankets, maybe a place for the baby to sleep. It doesn't have to be a crib. It doesn't have to be this elaborate thing you have to go purchase. It can be a hand-me-down. You can get it off a marketplace, Craigslist. It's really not as expensive as you would think that you would need for this new baby. We didn't need all that much. We used a pack and play for several months, which I believe was a hand-me-down at the time. You think you need to make this whole room for this baby and design it and paint it and put their name on the wall. That's fun, but it's not necessary. They won't even sleep in that room for a while. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're having like a baby shower, or you're having some sort of event where people are going to bring you presents and gifts and things, make sure you kind of let them know what you want, because you're going to get the most random things that you're going to have to find something to do with. You're going to need tons of diapers and wipes and maybe a handful of outfits, maybe some burp rags or something, but that's it. Some people worry about so many silly things when it's the beginning, and I know it's very exciting, but it's very expensive if you buy all of these things you're not going to use or you don't need. Another thing is, make sure you got decent insurance, medical insurance. Kids are not cheap. Appointments are not cheap. Make sure that, you or your spouse has medical insurance. And if you're double covered, fortunately, my wife and I were both employed at the time. We were double covered. So there was no co-pays. We really didn't have to pay anything. And we had triplets. So it was extremely expensive. That's kind of a little life hack, is make sure you got good medical insurance if this happens. And make sure, I guess it's kind of late by now, but you want to make you and your spouse on the same page. And what I mean is just make sure you have the same values, the same kind of direction, how you want your child to grow up. It's a very good idea to talk about discipline. How are we going to discipline? How are we going to raise the child? If you clash on that, it's a little difficult. Make sure that, I guess pick a good one. Pick a good spouse before making it extra difficult is what I highly recommend. Try to make sure you have the same beliefs and values. It's very difficult when those two don't match and you're trying to raise your son or daughter in an environment where it's confusing. That helps a lot. But I'm sure you didn't plan to have a child with somebody that you're not compatible with, that you don't have the same values. More of a kind of a couple steps back there. And then all the cravings your wife, spouse, whatever, has during these times, make sure you're there for her. It's very hard to grow a human. And they want some crazy things, but just be there. As a man, financially, you're thinking, oh man, how are we going to afford this? You're going to figure it out. You're never, ever ready enough, financially, or really any way, that you will be ready. You just got to do it. If you're excited about it and you both agree on it, it's a lot of fun. I really don't think your life begins until you start having kids. Kids are amazing. I have triplets. I didn't have any kids before that, so I don't know how having one at a time works. My wife and I were just lucky enough to have 3 at the same time. Get them all, one shot, one kill, get them all done with. So it's been quite a little circus. We've never really had a babysitter, so it's just her and I. At one time, for almost a year, we worked at the same place, just opposite shifts. I would work at night, she would work in morning, or vice versa. She would drive the kids to there. We would trade cars in the parking lot. I take them home. So it's a balance. It's you got to give up a lot of things in your life to do this, but the love that you will have for these children, it'll be worth it. It will totally be worth it. My current state of affairs right now, I work mornings, my wife works evenings. As soon as I get home, she's pretty much just waiting in the driveway until I pull in and she pulls out to work. She gets the kids ready in the morning, sends them off to school. I get home, I pick them up, I put them to bed. It's very taxing on the relationship, I'll tell you that. But in the end, it's amazing being a father, being a dad, learning who you are, and it just comes natural. You really think too much about it, but it's so much fun. You get to kind of be a kid again. You get to play with fun toys again. You get to introduce them to all of your favorite things. I highly recommend it. It's amazing. If you like this video, please comment below. I'm sure I'm missing out a lot of things. These are just things off the top of my head for new dads or future dads. It's a lot to take on, but it is completely worth it. You just gotta go one day at a time. You're gonna be okay. Everybody else has done it. That's how you got here. So it can't be that hard. All right. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. and let's be good dads together.